Hello, my name is Hector Garza, and this is my presentation on Online ICT with regulatory requirements. Regulatory requirements are pretty much passed down by the government. The government has an important role to promote the U.S. economy. That means growth of in the ICT environment. It has to be growth of the e-commerce sector. It also plays an important role in promoting the public welfare. That means protecting critical infrastructures such as the electrical grid, water, plants, and other important sectors needed by the public. The main role of the government is to pass laws. These laws are handed down by the Congress or presidents as executive orders. A good example is the HIPAA, which is used to protect medical records of patients. And the ICT, the most important one came down is through the Homeland Security Act, which is the Federal Information Security Management Act, FISMA. And basically, FISMA was it's a law, it's a public law, 107-347, which requires federal agencies to develop and implement mandatory policies, principles, standards, and guidelines on information security. The way this works is through NIST. NIST is basically a body that is responsible for developing standards and guidelines. And NIST 853 is the security and privacy control for federal information systems and organizations. It is the minimum requirement for any federal information systems. It doesn't have to be with any like private business or public business, but if they wish to implement it that have contracts with the U.S. government, this is the minimum requirement, which is 853. NIST 853 breaks down the guidelines into organizational responsibilities, risk management, security controls, and privacy controls, which is something new that has been recently added. The organizational requirement is pretty much required that management articulate security requirements and specifications. That means senior management has to be involved in security, and that the information within the organization has to be classified into 3 tiers. The tier 1 is at the organizational level, tier 2 is the business process level, and tier 3 is the IT level. Another section of 853 is risk management, and here this is a figure from 853. And this is the strategy for risk. As you can see, all 3 tiers are in the pyramid with information systems at the bottom and main organization, which is management, on top. And as you can see, the requirements is that everything within the organization has to be transparent. It has to be based on risk-based decisions. The whole company has to be aware of risk, and there has to be communication with feedback for continuous improvement. And it is a top-down or bottom-up direction approach. And this is part of the risk management. And risk management is big with this. And as you can see in this risk management framework, there's there are other guidelines to help you with the risk management, but this is out of the 853, which gives you a little example how it works. You have the organizational inputs, which is tier 1. They pass down the guidance, the goals of the other organizations, the priorities and resources available. And it's pretty much grouped into little sections as per step 1. And then for each little group, they select a security control, they implement it, and they access it. They test it, and then they authorize it, monitor it, and they go back to the groups how they want to work on it. And all this is it's just a cycle. It's a security life cycle, but it's based on risk management. The other important part of the NIST 853 is security controls. Basically, you are required to have baselines for access controls, awareness training, audits, configuration management, maintenance, program management, and these identifiers are more detailed in the NIST 853, and it's a lot of pages, and you just need to hammer it out to meet these security requirements. The important thing about 853 is not only for federal, but it's also for any organization willing to adapt to it. And right here on the on the security controls, you can see a tailoring guidance. That means you can configure all the security controls that are within the standard to meet any organizations based on risk. And it's just a cycle that goes back and forth. Like, this is the initial security control baseline. This is how you're going to modify it. And it tells you how to apply it. It's pretty simple. It's just time consuming. And it's if the organization wishes to do government contracts or work with the government, this is something they have to adapt to. The newest thing to the 853 is privacy controls. It is a big thing going on because due to a lot of breaches, especially with a lot of businesses going to the cloud infrastructures, or security and privacy are two of the biggest things. Privacy, which is pretty much new, it has privacy controls, and lastly, you can see AR6 is privacy reporting, and then there's other things within the guidance that you have to do, like data retention, disposal, and these are some of the requirements that are to control privacy. As you can go through the privacy controls, there's other like limitations, internal use, information sharing with third parties. You probably hear about this, and for HIPAA, the biggest one is privacy notice. Like if there's a breach, any patient that whose information got published or breached must be notified within a certain time frame that their information was released to the third party or something like that. Again, this is my presentation from NIST 853, which is the requirement for any federal entity that has to comply to FISMA. Again, the reference right here is the joint tax, and it's a link to the specification 853. Thank you.